The first statistic that it gave me, oh gosh, let's remove that. What's going on, people? It's Baxter SC Music, and in this video I'm gonna be having just a chill discussion with you guys, going over a recap of my YouTube and Spotify 2024 music recaps. I want to, in 2025, try to have more discussions about music that I listen to and maybe get back into reactions, possibly reviews, just opening up this channel to having more discussions about music that I'm interested in, and hopefully being able to connect with whoever's here watching me with the music that hopefully we enjoy or have different opinions about. Just want to have like fun, chill, and respectful conversations about music that we enjoy here. So if you're into that and just want to hear me ramble about my favorite music of the year, then stick around and let's get into this recap. I wonder if I'll edit that. So the first part of this video that I wanted to knock out of the way is actually my Spotify recap. Unpopular opinion, I actually like the YouTube music and YouTube music recap more than Spotify and Spotify music recap. Very controversial because I also very much promote and understand that Spotify at least seems to be the bigger music streaming platform at this point in time, but I'm like a YouTube addict. I'm on YouTube all the time and I listen to a lot of music on YouTube. Another big issue I kind of run across when I did, and I've tried to use Spotify, I've had the premium service, and I'm going into a whole ramble about why I don't use Spotify over YouTube Music, which is not really the point of this video. But getting back to the point, the main reason why I talk about this is because I didn't really listen to Spotify much at all. So this portion of the video with the recap is gonna be kind of quick. Let's get into it. I'm gonna be using my phone to help me guide myself, but I'm gonna put the images that I'm discussing somewhere along the screen right here, so you'll see what I can see. Like my glasses help me. It's so silly. I've got my numbers pulled up, and the first statistic that it gave me, oh gosh, let's remove that. This video is not, I mean, actually this video is low-key about the stats, but it's like, I guess, the fun of the stats. So it's kind of hilarious. I didn't really listen to Spotify much at all this year, and it reflects in the amount of minutes I've listened to Spotify. I listened to Spotify a whole whopping 98 minutes. 98 minutes this year. And when you see how much I've listened to Spotify in comparison to my YouTube music, I think it's gonna be kind of funny. But yes. Another big reason why I feel like I wanted to focus on my YouTube recap more so in the video versus my Spotify is because honestly my Spotify recap is mostly me. I listen to myself the most when I did use Spotify, as you'll see. And I say that to say that because my top song of Spotify was Midnight Mode by Baxter. Yikes for the amount of times I listened to my own song on Spotify, apparently 3 times, but I was in the top 0.5 listeners worldwide, so all that really says is Midnight Mode didn't get a lot of listens on Spotify, but that's okay because I didn't really promote it. Moving on. Alright, so going to my top songs in my Spotify I've been saying recap. It's called Spotify Rap.
Now I know.
Okay, rap, recap, wow. All right, so getting into my top songs of the year, or my top 5 songs of the year. My top song was Midnight Mode, which was my instrumental release earlier this year. Second song was Strawberry featuring Sin. Third top song was Digital Whirlpool. It's interesting that out of the top 5 songs of the songs I barely listened to on Spotify, 2 of them ended up being my instrumentals. And then my 4 and 5, 4 is Never Happened, the remix. That's actually a song that I featured on with Harold. And then my 5th song was Touch the Sky, which is a collaboration that I did with artist so yep, so those are my top songs per Spotify out of those 98 minutes that I listened to. My top artists on Spotify Rap, take a wild guess, me. I was my top artist on Spotify with 48 minutes listened to, and I was in the top 1% of my listeners worldwide. So, you know what they say about being your own artist. You have to be your biggest fan. Alright, now going to my top artists on Spotify. We've got 2 sneaks in here. My top artist was, again, myself. My second top artist was Eldre, which makes sense for me. Eldre being one of my favorite independent, really chill, lo-fi artists that does a lot of instrumentals. Number 3, I believe the artist's name is Nalik. At least that's how I would pronounce it. I've never heard of this artist. I don't recall ever listening to any music from this artist, so he's the first sneak on here.
I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
4 being BTS, that shocks me again because I don't feel like I was on Spotify that much. But as you'll see in my YouTube recap, BTS was, spoiler alert, one of my top artists on there as well. So it doesn't shock me too much that I might have listened to BTS more so the few times I did on Spotify. The other sneak is Tinashe. I know that this year her song Nasty had gotten like a lot of airplay, at least in my internet bubble. So maybe that got enough airplay to make it onto my rap for Spotify for this year, but I'm not really sure about how she snuck onto that list, but I'm not mad at it. I also really like her song 2 On. Again, I don't know if I was listening to that on Spotify very much, but maybe. So yeah, that is my short and sweet Spotify recap. For the 98 minutes worth of what I listened to on Spotify, that recap, I'm the biggest fan apparently on there. All right. Enough of talking about Spotify. I'm going to go ahead and now move on to the YouTube recap portion where you'll see a very stark difference in both what the listening material is and the amount being listened to. So let's get into it. So first off, I noticed that with my YouTube recap versus my Spotify Wrapped, I got a lot more data, a lot more insights about what I listened to this year from my YouTube recap versus the Spotify Wrapped. But I only listened to the 98 minutes, so Spotify was like, you're not giving me too much to work with here. Let's get into what the recap had to say. It starts out by saying that my 2024 listening was giving, or aka my moods for the year: hype, lovesick, hopeful, and pop music. Yes, I would say all of those are pretty accurate to the listening habits of what I did here this year on YouTube. Yeah, that sentence right there. So this right here is one of my favorite insights from my YouTube music. So remember that 98 minutes that I listened to on Spotify? On YouTube, I listened 800, no. Why can't I say numbers out loud? 85,087 minutes of music this year. Comparison to the 98, that's pretty start. A lot of time spent listening to music, so that was fun. So let's get into some of my top tracks now. According to my music recap, my top track of the year was Impossible by the K-pop group Rise. Apparently, I started listening to that song on the 18th of April of this year, and I've listened to that song for 335 minutes. So I've listened to Rise's Impossible longer than the entirety of the amount of times I listened to myself on Spotify. What am I doing as an artist? I just need to like get my stand roots back in here and like, I don't know, just playing. And so I guess I'm just exposing myself as like the biggest Rise fan at this point, because my top 5 tracks of 2024, 4 out of the 5 tracks were Rise songs. I've got Rise Impossible at number 1. I've got Rise Siren at number 2. I've got Talk Saxy by Rise for number 3. I've got Honestly by Rise for number 4. And then I've got Chase That Feeling by TXT, or Tomorrow by Together randomly at number 5. I say semi-randomly because I love this song by TXT, and I know I definitely listened to this song a lot as well. But I'm very shocked that it cracked to the top 5 out of like the majority of other songs and artists that I listened to. But kudos, great song. So this is also a funny kicker. Even though Rise was in my top charts, yes, my top charts for this year, they were charting the highest in my mind. My top artist actually turned out to be 17, with 77 hours and 220 songs. To be fair, 17, like, their discography is so big. Their discography is so big, it doesn't really shock me that much to find out I've listened to that much, but I just think it's interesting to go back and check. I'm pretty sure like NCT, especially NCT 127 was probably my top artist. So it's interesting that 17 took the crown from them this year. Moving on, I was in the top 0.1% of Louis Tomlinson listeners. That really just goes to show that my One Direction core is still strong. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to probably leave a little thing. We miss him. Anyway, listened to a lot of Louis Tomlinson this year as well. Particularly, I'm sure his album Faith in the Future, which I'm sure is going to be in my top albums. One of my favorite albums probably of the year, probably one of my favorite albums of his. Just so much good music to really help you get out of a funk, especially when it comes to breakups. So that's what I'll say about that. I listened to Louis 108 times as much as the average listener. So Louis Tomlinson, if you ever see this video, just know I'm a real one. All right, so now going to my top 5 artists of this year. We've got 17 at number 1. We've got BTS at number 2 instead of number 4. So it's interesting that BTS has made both of my lists, both Spotify and YouTube. We've got Rise at number 3, which makes sense. Then we've got Louis Tomlinson at number 4. And then number 5 is Spectrum, who is one of my favorite independent rappers right now. I feel like he's definitely given me a lot of like creative and inspirational vibes that hits more of kind of like a trippy, old school, psychedelic hip hop vibe. I don't really know who else to encapsulate that in, but definitely give him a good look if you want some good mental fuel, good motivation too. Favorite song from him this year was Stay Focused, and I think he made my list because of his album The Spectrum, which we'll get to when we get to our top albums. According to my 2024 timeline per YouTube Music, in May I had Impossible on repeat, with me listening to it 330 times or something like that. Probably at least got my like first 100 listens down within May. Who knows? June was All Kinds of Happy, at least musically. In October, okay, so it looks like we've skipped from June to October. I promise I was listening to music in between then, but we're just gonna skip. So I'm gonna say like July, August, like boop. Now I'm at the little superlative. The superlative that I got, I'm calling it superlative because, okay, excuse me. On the recap, it's called my music character. My music character is the hometown hero. It says, I stay loyal to the people in music that I love, keeping my favorites on repeat all year long, which is kind of true. Like I said, I guess I just have my go-tos, which, does everyone have their go-tos? I don't know. I kind of have my go-tos though, that whenever I'm in my funks, I listen to them to channel certain vibes to either get me out of the funk or get me deeper into the funk to really just sit with those emotions and get over it. So now we're at the top albums of 2024. It says that my top album this year with 19 hours, interestingly enough, was Spectrum, The Spectrum. Excuse me, actually the album was The Spectrum by Spectrum. And that definitely seems really accurate. I think that this album was kind of like my album of healing, motivation. Like I just would go back to it whenever I went through a lot of times of having to like let things go this year. That was a good album for me to listen to kind of reconnect with myself and let go of feelings. So I really like that album. My other top albums, we've got 17 Best Album, 17 right here, or I think it's 17 here. It's kind of cut off, so I don't remember how that last bit goes. Then we got Faith in the Future, Louis Tomlinson, bonus edition, because those last extra few songs really do help out to kind of finish out the album. We've got Zayn, Room Under the Stairs. There really wasn't too much Zayn in this recap, but I definitely loved listening to this album as well. That album was a really big shock for me as far as like the style that it went for. But once I got used to it, I was like, oh, I see where we're at now. And I love the direction that Zayn's going in. Lastly, we've got Chilumbo, which kind of shocked me. Shocked me, but not shocked me. I do feel like Chilumbo was definitely another one of those albums that I went to whenever I needed to like get out of a funk for particularly like romantic reasons, which we won't go into. But yeah, this album is definitely just another really great album to like help me get out of my like feelings, or if I am in my feelings, like just channel to get those bad feelings like in a different place in my head. I don't know if I'm explaining these the best way, but I guess that's what the power of music is supposed to be for. So yes, those are my top albums of 2024. Yeah. So yes, that is my recap of this year. I don't know if I'm gonna post like the whole playlist of my top. I can't talk. Let me know in the comments what some of your favorite music was this year. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end of this video. I know I don't really post very often here, but I'm gonna try to challenge myself with this next year coming up to show up more, to have more music discussions, and try to just create a space here, maybe a community of chill music heads. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to everybody that did listen to any of my music this year. I know it was a very relatively quiet year. The fact that I got anybody still listening, it's just like, that's just really dope. I'm gonna get back into my flow a little bit better so I can both release more content like this and also just more music so we can continue connecting and vibing together. So that's all I got for you in this video. Again, my name is Baxter. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like, leave a comment, turn on notifications, even though who knows when I'll be back here. But just have a good day. Continue listening to music and appreciate you. Have a good one.